Welcome all to Men 5WH channel. In today's session, we'll discuss something on the AI project ideas. So very recently, I was trying to mentor some students on projects in IoT, data science, and one of the requests was to share some thoughts about AI projects. Now, let me be very honest with you. There's nothing like AI project ideas or data science project ideas or IoT project ideas. You have to align your mind towards solving a business problem for a customer, for a consumer, maybe for a retailer, for a banker. That's the mindset you need to really redevelop yourselves. There's no trying to jump into a bandwagon and trying to do something for the sake of doing. Okay, so if you want to create a project report, that's quite plain to really create something and show that you have done a project. But if you really want to use this project as a passport to your job, your career, your passion, then you need to be patient enough to listen to a lot of things which is happening around you. Okay, so let me give an example. Like whatever you will see in this session is basically what happens in the industry, what happens maybe before you. You just have to read from that pulse and then try to create something new. So some of the work which we have been doing is on adaptive intelligence by using AI, incremental AI. There is another area which we are working on. There is third area which is basically to do with intuitive AI. So these terms, if you really remove those jargons, what they mean is today we need a kind of a small incremental plus into whatever application is happening, and then you might see a full-fledged AI in the next 5 to 10 years to come with the development of more of deep learning, machine learning in the workplace. So let's look at some of the perspectives about project ideas. So before we go there, let's just go into um, what some of the top universities are thinking around this particular area. Because like Stanford and Harvard are called the top universities, and they are the top universities for research. So it's good to get some perspective in terms of what they're thinking around AI. So there is a lab which Stanford has said called Stanford AI Lab. So Stanford AI Lab has been a center of excellence for AI intelligent research, teaching, theory and practice since its founding in 1962. Please understand, from academically, if you go back 3 decades back, there was AI. It was taught more theoretically. It was more seen in big investments or big missions which nobody can afford to. But today it is a commodity. AI is a commodity, so you can just jump into a cloud and then you can start working on machine learning. So let me just show you what I'm trying to tell. Like if I'm very new to AI, so I can just log in into the AWS console, which is a cloud provider. It doesn't matter whether you understand or used AWS before, but I'm just signing into my AWS cloud login. So I could just start off my journey in AI, because most of the things like storage, capacity, processing, everything can be provided by the cloud vendor, and you can just focus on to write the business logic. But most of the time in the past, okay, you spend majority of time in trying to set up the infrastructure, set up the storage, and then you lose the time to build the algorithms. So when I log in into the AWS management console, you can see that this provides you a very big area here called machine learning. So if you log in into an Azure, you'll find again there a set of things for machine learning. If you log in into Google Cloud Platform, you'll find something there. So the idea here is like irrespective of what you want to do for a customer, suppose you want to do something on a predictive intelligence for customer behavior in a particular retail store. So you can really start looking at the business case, focus on the algorithm, and quickly come in into one of the cloud provider. You will get the infrastructure, you will get the storage, you will get the platform as service. You can just start building the algorithm and rolling it out. Okay, and then based on the usage, you can really get built for that. So those are the kind of convenience you get here, and that's the reason that When I'm talking Stanford, they tell 1962 the AI there was different from what is happening 5 years from now. Today we have TensorFlow, you have ways to write AI more easily. Okay, so coming down, if you really see, there are a lot of news. So the reason I'm showing you this is for students or for professionals who are asking me for project ideas. It is better to go into those top universities and see what are they researching on. Okay, I would ideally tell you, before you go there, you can just go down to your street, go down to your maybe to your stores, walk down and talk to people and find out what are the kind of big challenges they're trying to face. Okay, and maybe build an algorithm which is very local, and then maybe you can scale it up globally, you can scale it up geographically, whatever you call. So that's a smart way of doing things, speaking to people, identifying the case, and see how useful it is going to be for majority of people. Academically, it is going to be really the same thing, because it's not like somebody will have an extra neuro brain to think different, because everybody has to bring their product into the end customers. So they're also going to think the same way in terms of really going and researching out, maybe in an industry, maybe a mining industry, banking industry, insurance industry. It could be manufacturing, it could be a consumer behavior. So they will be talking to people, taking some surveys, bringing some data, and then looking at, okay, this is something which is thing. The other side of the story is bringing innovations. It means some new thoughts which you can roll it out, like how you can see today the Alexa of the world, Google Home of the world. All these were new 3 years before. You never had such concepts, right? So this is again an AI. So it's an AI grammar which is converting. So when you speak in voice, there's something which is getting built at the back end. It learns and tries to bring those data. Okay, it can think itself, blah blah blah. Okay, so you can see some latest news on some of the people who are submitting papers. You can be one of them if you're looking at doctorate, and you can also see that there are a lot of tweets if you want to really join their AI labs, and then there are a lot of faculty names and some affiliate programs. So this is a very interesting area. There is also some list of courses, but I am not here to really position any courses, because if you are a smart developer or something like that, if you have to learn a language properly, download all the APIs. But if you really want to get some information about, so there's some good courses here. At least you understand what are the domains you should really know to build AI logic, like ML, deep learning, computer vision, CNN, reinforcement. So this can give you a very good set of topic list for you to build your knowledge through self-learning or whatever is it. Okay. So you can see there are a lot of affiliates for these things. As I discussed, like they will be affiliating with a lot of companies like current members or UST Global, Virtusa, Total. So these are organizations where they're tied up with, basically. Okay. So that's Stanford for you. So the idea here is like you can really watch them, really follow them to see what kind of projects they're doing. You can also go down to data science lab, which is there in Harvard University. There is a data science and AI development laboratory which they have built, where they also do how AI is transforming the. See, it's not going to really change. Even if you read thousands of white papers, it's going to give you only three perspectives. It's going to talk about an industry transformation. Number two, they're going to really look at how a particular organizations or university or a service is building a center of excellence with these tools, frameworks, and industry. Third is the interesting part. Where is the case study? How is the customer benefiting it? That is still in the infant stage today. Okay, you could talk about the first two very well today. Practically, has your healthcare system changed to what these kind of gimmicks which has been spoken? Has your retail changed to that gimmicks? You could see very limited. Okay, but there is possibilities of these things happening in the 5-10 years come. We don't have to go to the Elon Musk think kind of a very lateral thinking, but at least to get to the basic foundational implementation, it's going to take 5 to 10 years or even a decade from now. Okay, so this is how the age of AI. What are the advanced analytical challenges which they are trying to solve? Computational biology algorithm, crowdsourcing for social good, determinants of science knowledge, blah blah blah. So the reason I'm trying you guys to really see here is get your best brain thinking in the initial stage of a project. So don't go to a local vendor and search for Google. Like They're providing you 10 project titles, join a course, and submit a project report. Okay. So if you research some universities. And then once you research some universities, moving into what a product company is trying to build in from a perspective. Now, today with Google, when you're using a Google search, there's a lot of AI implemented there. So when you go to Facebook, you can see a lot of AI implemented there. Okay, you go to Instagram, you can see a lot of AI implemented there. LinkedIn uses a lot of AI. Uber uses a lot of AI for its customer excellence. So that's the easy way to really learn how an application is innovating your AI. And then can you build something at your local place which can really help people to really look at and co-innovate with somebody in case you're not fully equipped to do the things. Okay, so you can bring the business idea at least on the table. So if you see Google AI, we work on computer science problem that define the technology of today. So the sentence jargons might change, but really what they're trying to tell is like the future is about AI. So like Sundar Pichai was talking about AI first, right? So basically what we are thinking is like that will be the first thinking which comes to mind when you start developing your code for the next 3 5 years. Okay, so what Google does is tackles the most challenging problems in computer science, and then the research is publications, tools and data sets. So if you are very new, I've been working on Java language for a very long time. You have something called the JSR, or you'll have something like the JEP. Now, what are these things? Now, these AI projects, which happens as an incubations or research projects, normally gets converted into a product, normally gets converted into a functionality, into a product. Maybe normally they might get really become something very new concept to be told, because this is where the thinking happens, right? The real AI of our brain happens in the research projects. Okay, so what does Google do? It's got some research, it's got some tools which they try to use. You can research, but my thought process is to give you draw you a line, get to the top universities, get to the top OEM, and then if you go into consulting companies, maybe you go to Accenture, Capgemini, Deloitte, EY, you will find an AI practice, machine learning practice, AI practice or a data science practice. So what they will be doing is to consult with industry leaders to really talk about AI. If you come down to companies which are like services company like HP, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, they also will have a center of excellence on these areas, showcasing customers how they help the customer transform, digital transformation, blah blah blah. Story is same, the flavors are different, right? So that is how you need to think. So as a student, you have to align how a university thinks, how an OEM thinks, which is the original equipment manufacturer. Then you start thinking how a consulting company and services company are delivering solutions to the end customers. And then you come back to your project list and scan them and see what might be more useful for a customer, for an industry. Look at what pain points you're trying to solve. Look at whether there'll be customer who can buy this product for you. Okay, so act like a businessman so that it becomes easy for you to position this product for an interview, or even as an entrepreneur or a startup company. Okay, so there are a lot of tools also Google is making, getting started with AI. For example, you can explore the TensorFlow is an open source today machine learning platform. You have something called ML Kit, brings Google's machine learning to mobile developers in a powerful, easy way. There's also TensorFlow.js, which is the browser-based JavaScript library. There is Co-Laboratory, is a Google research project to help disseminate machine learning education research. It's a Jupyter notebook environment, requires no setup. There is a Google open source, and then there is a learning which can help. So you have developers, you have data sets which are being provided to you, which you can really download and start looking at from cloud AI and auto ML. You have something called as a launch pad studio, a product development acceleration program for machine learning companies. You could also see that there is something called as enterprises for startups. So when it comes to startup, it's very important. There is a lot of ways where this OEM help. If you're able to find a business idea, able to get yourself a little bit into stage two of your thinking, then you can really discuss with Google or Amazon or Azure or Oracle. They might help you if you want to put this into a a viable case study, because they will have the scale and money power which is required to back you up. Okay, so what is required is a commonsensical thinking, understanding business case, identifying tools, building a kind of a wired frame, and then trying to deliver some results. So from there, I think it's pretty easy to build the next level if you're in partnership with somebody. Okay. Similarly, you have Microsoft Research Labs, and this is also a research lab which talks about a lot of things which is happening in various areas. So the thing I like here is like you have machine learning, you have mobility. You will find that the thought process is like every organization today will have something like an AI practice, a center of excellence, building a lot of frameworks, building a service practice, building an agile practice for delivering ML projects, research work which is happening on the deep learning, blah blah blah. Okay, so people can claim that we are already doing 100 things, but to my knowledge, if you really see, look at your brain, and if mimicking of that has not even reached 5%, so it means 95% possibility exists for the next 3 decades to come, by which we can fulfill the automation or autonomous and augmentation in a truthful way. Okay, so always selling and marketing keeps happening. The reality kicks hold when of AI first should take a lot more time than what we really see. So let's continue with the summary of what we spoke here. So there's a lot of project ideas. So you could see that there are 8 AI blockchain projects like Deep Brain Chain, Numer AI, Bot Chain, Matrix AI, and more. Why I've listed this particular? So this all picked up when I researched this. What I figured out, like AI, if you want to do something on AI, it doesn't mean like no, you're become already I could call like no, a person whose thinking is very narrow. So look at the problem you're trying to solve, and then really look at what kind of technologies are required. So that is where AI blockchain can do some wonders. AI IoT can do wonders. Maybe AI plus blockchain plus IoT plus data science plus an UI is required for a project. So worry about your use case and requirements and align technology. You simplify it if you want, but use the best of technology. Create an MVP. You can expand it over the next 15 years or whatever you call, but that is the kind of mindset you need to have. So there are a lot of things like an AI blockchain. So we know what is blockchain, we know what is AI. You can mix it up and create some project. That's an idea for you. You can go to Stanford, you can go to Harvard, you can go to Google AI, you can go to Microsoft Research, Amazon Research Labs, you can go to all the consulting companies' website, and you can really read what is the kind of projects, case studies which they're listing. So if you go to an Amazon Web Service and search for AI or ML case studies, you would see hundreds of them, how they're delivering solutions. So you might want to pick and choose what is the kind of transformation they're trying to do, build any new area in that projects. Similarly, you can really look at how an industry is transforming, industry 4.0, fintech, insurtech, agri-tech, and really see what are the messages they're trying to provide. Can you help them? Okay, so these are things should be purely your interest. Similarly, there is an AWS AI, so they're delivering a lot of things for a lot of customers. So that's why I told you can pick one and see what they're trying to do. So this is the Google AI platform. I'm not here to discuss the implementation, but if you want to pick up a project and to deliver using the Google AI platform, you might have to know these many things. So don't simplify everything for the sake that everything is available in Google. When I search, I got 10 ideas. Then I can download, I can create a login. It's not like that, right? So if you're a seasoned guy who's been in the industry for a long time, you know, like everything takes its time. Okay, so you have a Google AI platform, or you have something called Google AI experiments. You can also see this particular thing, text it out in your Google. There is AI services in Azure, like pre-built AI, conversational AI, custom AI. You can go through that. uh, some of the work which I found it very interesting happening is AI project for lane line detection. See, why is something like this very useful? You have to be practical in your project. So I saw some when I reviewed some of the projects for smart helmets using which is trying to really solve a problem. So you need to really look at what kind of intensity of a problem are you solving. And is it addressing some local market requirement, what the government is thinking or what the media is thinking? So you solve some leadership problem or some customer centric issues. Okay, so this is a very much essential with accidents. So the way the if you really see the presentation of this project will be on to talk about a case. Why are we doing a landline detection? What kind of problems are they solving? Similarly, if you really look at a self-driving car, again, this is a very interesting perspective, but a very futuristic perspective. Maybe in some of the developed countries, it might have instances very quickly, but to come up in a developing country, it's going to take a couple of decades, right? So, but that's a very interesting concept. But how can you do such a big project for investment? So you may want to really think about instead of going for self-driving car, but you might want to take self-driving mind. Maybe create a sensor or something which you can really do something like, if you think about something, it can do something fruitfully. Okay, and you are applying this into people who are disabled or something. So you will find such kind of projects are also available on Google, but not when somebody is releasing like I've done a project, it doesn't mean it's covering all the domains. So again, that is marketing and sales which happens like the entire domain is covered. So if you really dig deep into it, they might be covering segments maybe for people who don't have limbs or something like that. They may not be addressing the other sides of the handicaps, blah blah blah. So always look at the problem more holistically. So there is a spam classifier which you would have really seen. They're all part of AI projects, right? So automatically when a mail comes, how do you move it to non-spam, spam? Now from here you start your project. Now like domain is already available. How do you make it more intelligent, right? Similarly, there's a chatbot project. You can see fast tracked. Now chatbot has become conversational UI, has become voice AI. Maybe you can use other senses like touch sense, smell sense, maybe thinking sense, and all this can you apply to the chatbots. And this is another combination like AI to blockchain. You can look at AI plus IoT. So a lot of examples like expert system, you can build and personalize application, mobile devices, machine translation, and NLPs, chatbots, self-driving. These are some of the examples we just saw. Okay, so neural networks pretty complex. Okay, and don't simplify it. Can spend their entire lifetime learning this and still end up with 10% of the knowledge or less than that. So machine learning are inspired by human brain and neural processing are called artificial. So you just visit a neurologist nearest your home, talk to him about the complication of a brain, right? And then you want to simulate it with a software program, how complex it is, right? So even though you have a DL library, you have TensorFlow, blah blah blah, but it's more complex, far more complex than we think. So this is a kind of a biological neuron. Right now, like there is a dendrite, cell body, axon. I strongly recommend everybody to learn about the brain for at least a week before you keep hands on deep learning. And I found like when people who have some challenges, maybe in problems with no neuron, or maybe so some people have this spinal problem or something, and they start understanding these things by Google search, and they figure out like what is happening within their spine, why is this there is a pain all over the body. Okay, from the top to the bottom. Now why are these relevant? You're really learning the working of brain. It's sending signals. Okay, it's thinking. Okay, it's coordinating, right? There are a lot of functions of a brain, right? The blood, what is available will have to be really told what to do by the brain, right? So even though there is enough of blood, the pumping is very important. Pumping is done by different functions. So you can really see that brain is a very important area of your body part, and you're trying to take this biological neuron and you're trying to create an artificial neuron. So it's as simple as we really think, right? There are a lot of X inputs, okay, and then you're trying to really get into the cell body or soma activation and then creating an axon with a formula, okay, y equal to f of w power t into x plus b. That's a kind of formula. So mathematical. So not as easy as you think, right? And then you can do artificial neural networks. So you can have hidden unit net input, hidden unit net. You can keep processing. So the easy way to teach students, whenever I did a workshop on this area, if you make a person visualize when you see something, suppose you saw a dog, you quickly be able to visualize this is this dog, this color, this is the breed. Okay, now if you have to simulate the same thing by using a machine, right, you can see how complex it is, right? So because it has to really visualize so many, so that's a layering what we are talking about. Okay, that's artificial neural network. So the structure of an artificial neural network is like you have linear activation units. Now, why am I teaching you this? Because when you're trying to do a project, ensure that you are really knowing the subject very well and you should know what you're getting into, because otherwise neither in your viva was nor in your project reports nor with your interviewer nor as a career you're going to be successful, because this is a pretty complicated area, so you have to spend enough time to understand what's happening in the project. Okay, so what might be interesting for you is to see chatbots and the wow part of it looks very good, right? So you have a lot of things like linear activation units, sigmoid activation units, CNN, reinforcement unit, and transfer learning notion. So this was various structure of a artificial neural networks, and we can see there are several neural activation units like linear, sigmoid, rectified, softmax, back propagation, CNN, recurrent neural, long short memory shells, generative GAN, reinforced learning cube. So we have to know all these things to really program things better in your code. Okay. So these are some of the examples which I saw. I found it very interesting. You can transfer learning detecting diabetic retinopathy. So what some of the interesting students or maybe researchers have done is they have explored the advanced pre-trained CNN that can be used to train a CNN that is capable of detecting diabetic retinopathy in fundus image of the human eye. So they use Python 3, TensorFlow, Keras, and OpenCV, and they can take color fundus images of the retina and classify the severity of the condition of the retina. That's very interesting, right? So you, unless you get to this practical aspect, know which tools, know what you are doing, and finally to help somebody, okay, your projects is always going to be successful. Where is this idea going to come? So don't search for a mentor, search for an institute, search for some training labs to really give you this use case. You use your brains, and the subject you're learning is about brains, and you must start using a brain. Everybody has the same intent. The person whom you're going is not smarter than you. Okay, he just has some data to give you, like I've already done 40 projects, why don't you pick one of them? So why should you do, unless you're looking at some academic, some marks, and then a job where you really don't enjoy and simply start getting your salary, right? But if you're really serious about doing something, think projects like this. You will be able to enjoy doing that project. You will research effectively. You might be struggling, but after that your life is pretty smooth. Similarly, neural machine translation refers to translation of text from one language to another using computers. This is a huge requirement today. Okay. Similarly, you will find style transfer in the fashion industry, process of blending style of product into another product. So you saw a kind of a design which is very interesting. So you want to read that design and move it into something else. All this is possible. Video captioning applications. Today, with you all know, like people, we are moving from a digital world, which is basically when I tell I'm moving from a digital world, you might be shocked. But from TV, we are moving to digital. Now we are moving to OTT, and then people's expectation are growing. Now they really want to see any kind of movie, but they need captioning on demand. They might want to add with video chats, with video live. You can see the kind of people who are using it may not even know what is ABCD of computing. You don't need. Okay, so they have a business in mind. They can get live, they can speak, they can enable the caption and create effective business. That is smartness. Okay, not going, the coders, developers, architect will focus behind the scenes, but for a user it is important whether he is able to take that and quickly get some business out of it. Okay, so video captioning application, intelligent recommended systems. So this happens everywhere. You see CX suite of any of the products, like if you go to Salesforce, you go to Oracle CX, you go to SAP CX, what they're trying to do, right? They have a sales module, they have a marketing module, they have the commerce module, and then they have a code module, CPQ module. They're trying to integrate it, and then they start providing you the intelligent recommender system to the customer, To the sales guy, there is a lead. To the customer, that why don't you buy something new? Then there's a commerce which is built in. The code is sent automatically. And then you can see the same intelligent recommender system in your Facebook. From a consumer perspective, do you know this friend? Do you want to connect to this company? This kind of job is coming in. All these are intelligent recommender system. And one thing you need to remember, the psychology of human being, because we are on the AI topic, is where you will give you success. So why is Facebook successful? Is not because you wrote some intelligent set of algorithm at the back end. You're trying to hit the psychology of a human being, which is like everybody like to be social. Okay, everybody wants to be important. Basically, they want to really uh, create their presence by trying to post something and tell that I have posted something and get recognition. So this is part of a human psychology, right? And the real objective of the Facebook was just to find a friend, but later they figured out like there is a lot of thirst in human beings at some point of time when they want to have personalization, they want that presence. So they left out the friends, but they're using it more to post things to really look at. But what are the value systems which you create? That's a different story. Okay. So that's intelligent recommender systems. You can create your own things like Facebook if you are smart enough as a project, and roll it out in a very, very small form. Maybe it is not a Facebook what is released, but it's a Facebook for doctors. It's a Facebook for something specific to an area which students can use, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mobile app for movie review sentiment analysis. Now the movies reviews are done automatically today with AI. It's possible like when a movie is run, it can pick text, it can pick sentiments from the tweets, it can analyze that and then give a rating of 3 to 4. So auto rating is possible. So I'm not talking about that alone. I'm talking about sentiment analysis of people can be analyzed like on towards the elections, towards whatever it is. All this is possible. You can do conversational AI chatbots for customer service, autonomous self-driving car through this. All this is possible. You can do capture from DL perspective. You can see that capture which is coming in is very important. No, it doesn't allow somebody hacker to really create multiple accounts, to hack your passwords. So that's what can also be looked at from a deep learning perspective. Okay. So these were some of the examples. So I leave it to you guys to really think around this. The thought process is a project should not be taken very lightly. It can really change your life, right? So think about it. Okay, if you need any kind of support or inputs, you can always put a comment. We can really reach out and to really see how we can help. Okay, so thanks for watching.